Hello there, a good Friday evening to you, and many thanks for joining us on Rwanda Television News tonight. Our hopes that you had yourselves a great and productive day, and you are ending the working week in style and entering the fun-filled weekend as we wish for you. Now, welcome to our edition. These are the headlines. The plenary sitting of the Chamber of Deputies passed the law governing refugees and applicants for refugee status in Rwanda. The Rwanda Biomedical Center sensitized parents in Rwanda on the need to vaccinate their children against pneumonia. We are very glad to have your company tonight on Rwanda Television News. As we start off our edition, let us inform you that on Friday, President Paul Kagame sent a message of condolence to his Kenyan counterpart, His Excellency William Ruto, and the families of the victims of Thursday's chopper crash, which claimed the lives of 10 people, including the Chief of Defense Forces, CDF, General Francis Ogola. In a message passed on social media on Friday, the Rwandan head of state acknowledged General Ogola as a soldier who served with a great professionalism and humility. He said, I quote, "I send my heartfelt condolences to President William Ruto, the family and loved ones of the victims of the plane crash, including Chief of Defense Forces, General Ogola, who will be remembered for his professionalism and humility in service," he said. President Ruto confirmed the death of General Ogola in a press conference from State House in Nairobi on Thursday night. And moving ahead to other matters, President Paul Kagame has disclosed that Rwanda's decision to reduce over-reliance on foreign aid helped to transform the country after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. The president was speaking during the first high-level leadership forum, which kicked off in Kigali on Friday, April 19, 2024. The head of state said the government made deliberate efforts to change the mindset of its citizens on interventions needed to deal with hunger and other challenges, including diseases. In attendance were former Presidents Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia and Kathleen Samba Panze of the Central African Republic. The forum brings together 3 cohorts of leaders from across the continent for discussions that contribute to their mentorship and preparation for high-level leadership positions. And moving ahead to what made our headlines. The plenary sitting of the Chamber of Deputies in the Rwandan Parliament has passed the law governing refugees and applicants for refugee status here in Rwanda. The law will now be submitted for promulgation. We do have the details with Sergeant Hore.
The amended law contains various articles that address a number of issues the previous one had failed to when it comes to refugees and applicants for refugee status in Rwanda, as was explained by Honorable Alice Muzan, the chairperson of the Committee on Foreign Affairs and Cooperation. Before it was passed, however, a number of parliamentarians did point out the need to change some of the wording of different articles and their titles so as to completely eliminate any loopholes. I therefore believe that the title of the article should include that perspective so that there is no doubt that it is directed towards individuals that are affected by the refugee status. If the committee were to allow it, then it should be changed to clearly show that it regards people applying for the refugee status. If we were to leave it like this, saying that the reason concerns just a person's political views, people might commit crimes in other countries and then flee here claiming they are being persecuted because of their political views. I believe the phrase should change to reflect that the individual's political views are contrary to the official policies of the said country. The new law will also increase the possible appeal levels that can be pursued in case that an application for refugee status is rejected, or if a refugee with approved status has any grievances they feel are not being properly addressed. The law also includes articles related to other matters, such as the general welfare of refugees and the services they will be able to access, as well as issues related to their immediate families, and how the applications will be considered taking into consideration international laws on human rights.
While visiting local residents in Butare sector of Rusizi district on Friday, the Minister of Local Government urged those receiving assistance under the Give Directly program to properly use the funds they are given so as to improve their own welfare. Every family in the sector is given or is to receive 1.2 million Rwandan francs into installments, as those who have already been given the money say their lives have been transformed, with many having bought plots of land, livestock and started businesses. The funds were first distributed in June last year, and so far all the residents of the two cells have received them, and local residents in the sectors are pleased that more than 70% of what was given gone towards developmental initiatives that have paved their way and proved profitable. Research has found that savings in the part where the program has been implemented have jumped from 17% to more than 90%, with employment figures rising from 18 to 60%. Clear proof of the significant improvement in the social welfare of the citizens. And moving ahead to health matters, the Rwanda Biomedical Center, RBC, has urged parents in the country to understand the need to vaccinate their children against pneumonia because the infection kills many children.
It is not unusual for children, especially babies and toddlers, to contract pneumonia and for their parents to mistake it for a regular cold, resulting in the health of the child deteriorating very quickly, which is why vaccination at the right intervals is crucial before a baby is taken ill. When the child arrives, we check the body temperature and their breathing as well to determine whether or not they are struggling to catch their breath. We check the oxygen level in the child's blood, and if it is below average, we immediately put him or her on an oxygen machine as we wait for a transfer to a hospital where better health care can be provided. Rwanda started vaccinating children against pneumonia back in 2009, but the vaccines cover only 13 of the 90 bacteria, viruses and fungi that can cause the infection, which is why parents have to constantly be on their guard. It used to be that all of our hospitals would be full of children struggling to breathe, sometimes two on one bed because of overcrowding. Many were dying because of pneumonia, but that is not the only illness that can result from exposure to such bacteria and viruses. Any child under the age of 5 should be protected from certain things. As a parent, you must check that your child's bedroom is well ventilated, but not too windy or cold either. Also, parents should not allow a lot of smoke to accumulate in a room where a child is present during activities like cooking, because that too can cause pneumonia. Parents are also urged to understand that pneumonia cases can and do result in fatalities in children when the proper care is not given after an infection occurs. Pneumonia can easily kill a child because they struggle to improve while at home, necessitating hospitalization and supplemental oxygen. It is a terrible illness because even when in hospital, a child can develop other complications due to the fact that they're not eating properly because of a loss of appetite. This is the reason a parent must rush the child to hospital the moment they realize that they are struggling to breathe, irrespective of whether or not they have a fever, because at that point they could easily die. Up to 96% of children in Rwanda are now properly vaccinated, and the goal is to raise that figure to 100%. Nevertheless, last year 200 children died from pneumonia, and in 2022 the figure was 243. 45 in every 1,000 children in Rwanda die before their 5th birthday. That's 10,000 toddlers every single year.
Professional accountants recognize the necessity for the African continent to incorporate technology into the profession as a means of advancing more transparent practices. This was highlighted during the closing of the 4th East African Congress of Accountants held in Kigali. We do have the details with Adam Squizera.
Various professional accountants who participated in the 4th East Africa Congress of Accountants affirmed that it provided a valuable opportunity to collectively address the challenges facing the profession and to integrate its practices with technology.
One other thing that we learned in the conference, which is a good takeaway for accountants, is the issue of digital transformation. We know that as accountants, sometimes we assume that that is for the IT specialists, but we have seen that digital transformation is here, AI is here, and that is what will actually help us to be transparent, to be efficient, and to be able to offer our services in a more transparent way.
The fact that we are trying to encourage togetherness within Africa such that we can improve free mobility of quality services, quality accountancy services to businesses and countries in Uganda, in Africa.
Obadia Viraro, the president of ICPA, highlighted that during the Congress, the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area will necessitate improved practices, which must be spearheaded by professional accountants. He noted that this point was among the solutions identified to address the challenges faced by accountants on the continent.
We can keep upholding these professional standards, international standards on auditing. They are the same. Whether I was telling people this morning, whether you are in Moscow or in Musanze or in Moshi, they are the same. So the amplifier, sonorisation, is the accountant. It is not easy. I'm not claiming that it will be easy, but it would be a lot harder if there was no accountant. But now that we have the Accountants Institute and harmonized with all regional institutes and international, some of those initiatives to solve some of these superfluous problems can easily be tackled than otherwise.
The 4th East Africa Congress of Accountants took place over 3 days in Kigali, was attended by 600 delegates from 19 countries across Africa that were also invited. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
On Friday, April 19th, the Rwanda High Commission in Lusaka, Zambia, commemorated the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Over 300 guests, including members of the Rwandan community in Zambia, host government officials, civil society, members of the diplomatic corps in Zambia, and Friends of Rwanda attended the event. In the speech, the Chargé d'Affaires of the Rwanda High Commission in Lusaka, Zambia, Mr. Douglas Gakumba, noted that the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi was neither an accident nor a coincidence, but rather the culmination of the long-term extermination agenda. He reiterated that a clear example is that in the months and days leading up to the genocide against the Tutsi, thousands of militiamen, the majority of them youth, were trained and equipped to become killers and killing machines that could wipe away thousands of Tutsis in a short possible time. He further urged the international community to learn from what happened in Rwanda and collectively contribute to delivering justice to the victims and survivors, but importantly, fight genocidal ideologies and hatred. The guest of honor representing the government of Zambia was Zambia's Minister of Education, Honorable Douglas Siakilama, who commended the resilience of Rwandans and the ability to emerge from the ashes following the most tragic event in the recent history. And moving ahead, still on Kwibuka matters, on Friday, the management and employees of I&M Bank joined together to commemorate the 30th genocide against the Tutsi, the 30th anniversary of the genocide against the Tutsi that happened in 1994. During the event, they paid tribute to the former BCR employees, now part of the I&M Bank, who were killed during the genocide against the Tutsi. The chairman of I&M Bank Rwanda, Nibizi Bonaventure, emphasized emphasized that a commemoration provided a valuable opportunity to reflect on the lives of those employees and to educate the bank staff, especially the youth, about the history of the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda.
Kuko utamenya aho uva ntabwo wamenya aho ujya. Ubu rero turimo turubakira ku rubyiruko nkamwe mwese.
We are currently building from the youth just like you. Similarly, in our bank, whenever we gather with them, our first priority is to reflect on the lives of those who were killed in the genocide against Tutsi and to delve into the rich history of our country.
Gusobanukirwa amateka twese dushyize hamwe. Icyo cyo tuzanye hano rero uyu munsi.
And that's all from us here at RB's Rwanda Television News. On behalf of the entire news production, as well as the technical team, many thanks for being with us. And we wish you a great and a fun-filled weekend. Goodbye.